I had a client who had trouble trusting their intuition after they made a big, huge mistake and lost a lot of money. So they were gun shy. But what we were able to do is to process that as if it were like a psychological trauma, which it was. I kind of had them pretend that something else happened. When you do that with eye movements, you're rewiring the conditioning, the emotional response that happens automatically. And they were able to calm their mind and reduce the emotional noise and rebuild trust in their decision making process. So that shift allowed them to act confidently without the interference of past mistakes looming over every single trade. My approach is very open ended and it's client focused, and it allows individuals to develop personal metaphors and insights that resonate with them. One client who struggled with driving after a severe accident found peace by visualizing herself kayaking, which she associated with tranquility. And this was while she was moving her eyes, and she started referring to her car as her car yak. I love this. I love when people come up with their own stuff, and it really resonated with her deeply. So I love helping people to heal themselves. Let's talk a little bit before we end about what eye movement therapy can and can't do. So, this therapy is awesome for reducing fear, enhancing creativity, supporting your intuition. It helps traders stay grounded, recognize patterns, and act on hunches without emotional interference. But it's not a super cure all. I found that like treating addiction can be challenging because it involves the brain's pleasure seeking system, and that's difficult to override. And I mean, like, when you think about it, the difference between trading and gambling, well, there's more skill involved with trading, usually. I mean, with gambling, you're playing poker and there's skill involved in that. I think the main huge difference is that with gambling, you're trying to change your emotional state. You're trying to get that hit of dopamine and adrenaline. You're trying to feel good. And with trading, you're trying to make money. So if you feel good, it's a byproduct of you doing the right things. And then over time, the market rewarding you. And it's not about feeling good. When everybody goes off track is when they're like, well, I had all these losses. I really want to feel good. And then they try too hard and then they get fucked. Excuse my language. Um, so it's like the eye movement's not so great for treating depression, and it often well, whatever. That doesn't really affect you. People who are super intellectual or they have a history of extensive therapy might struggle with this, because what happens is they stay in their robot brain and they resist accessing their emotions. People who like compartmentalize so much, like law enforcement or first responders or veterans, like sometimes they don't do too well. A lot of them do, but if they're like so guarded emotionally, if they're like numb, like they have all this emotional pain and then they just spend so much mental energy to hold it down, and then it comes to the point where they're deadening their pain, but they're also deadening their joy. Those people don't necessarily do all that well with the eye movement stuff. Of course, if anybody ever tries any of my stuff and it doesn't work, they can always get their money back. So for people who are open to the process, the eye movement therapy can be hugely transformative, and it works so fast. Sometimes people will buy a coaching package from me which includes multiple sessions. They only need one. And then what we do is we just save them for later, for when, things start to go off track again, if they do. But I mean, I've been able to cure people who were sexually assaulted or molested or whatever in just one session. I mean, that's unheard of, but it works so well. And I have refined the process so well that I get consistent results very reliably. But if you want to try this as a trader, I'd love for you to do that. Just go to my website, watch the sample session. I think on this YouTube page there is one as well, and see how you feel when you're moving your eyes. And then once you add in the the focus and the direction of the suggestions when it comes to the eye movements, when we're focusing on your problems, that's much more powerful. And then if you want to use my AI coach, Max Discipline, Well, Max is just super convenient and he's much cheaper than I am. And he's really almost as good. Like, it's incredible. Thank you for watching and happy trading.